The actions of Michael Ilesanmi in 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. Regarding his Runaway story, Season 8 has drawn considerable criticism. In an effort to deepen their friendship, the Nigerian man invited Angela Deem to his hometown after they initially connected on Facebook. Regretfully, Michael's journey to marriage was not without incident. After he got into a physical altercation with a local woman, Angela stopped believing in him. In January 2020, Angela wed Michael in spite of her errors. Nevertheless, the problems in their tumultuous relationship persisted after they got married. The marital issues between Michael and Angela caused them to grow apart. In 2020, Angela underwent 5 separate cosmetic procedures, going against Michael's wishes. Her altered appearance started to cause problems in their personal relationships. In defiance of Angela's requests, Michael returned to social media in 2022. Angela surprised him in Nigeria by destroying his car as a result of this transfer. Angela and Michael decided to give their marriage one last try in 2023 when the latter entered the country on a spousal visa. But he only lived with her for 3 months before making the decision to flee in February. How recently was 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After published? In Season 8 of Tell All, Michael explained his escape from Angela's home. The crisis started when Angela's private investigator asserted that he could find no evidence linking Michael to the crime. In his extensive assessment on the Nigerian man's life, he discovered nothing noteworthy. Naturally, Angela became enraged over the whole thing and stormed out of the studio. Michael was forced to take off his wedding band by her since she felt he was a con artist. Following the tell-all filming, Michael and Angela had 4 uncomfortable days together. Michael, though, made the decision to flee. Michael gave the producers of the show a video clip in which he described what had happened. He claimed that following the tell-all, Angela became excessively violent toward him, which made him realize he was no longer able to save the marriage. Michael grabbed his briefcase and vital papers and fled on foot. He wandered for kilometers, dodging dogs, until he came across someone who would let him use their phone. Michael made touch with his close pals in America and requested that they drop him off at the bus stop. He gave his pals a one-way ticket and kept his whereabouts a secret. According to Michael's account, his depression resulted from Angela's maltreatment. His account of the events does, however, contain a few narrative gaps that imply that he had plans to flee long before he arrived in America. The date of Michael's story is the most ambiguous aspect. He was with Angela for more than 7 years. Despite being aware of her fury and personality quirks, he nevertheless made the decision to stay with her. Michael spent months with Angela even after arriving in the United States. It's strangely convenient that he didn't decide to flee until after the show was filmed. Michael presented his escape narrative as a victory. Claiming to be Andy Dufresne from The Shawshank Redemption, he claimed to have walked for hours in order to get away from Angela. The escape narrative Michael is telling is probably over the top, and it might be a ruse to make fans of 90 Day Fiancé feel sorry for him. He most likely made up the story that he was trekking for hours in order to appear vulnerable. Georgia is an American state with good access to public transit. It's unbelievable that Michael had such difficulty finding assistance. Additionally, Michael's fundraising campaign casts doubt on his story. In February, he broke up with Angela, but he didn't start the fundraising effort until the very end of the event, pleading with the audience to support him in his fight against Angela. It appears that Michael deliberately bided his time for months to amass a social media following in anticipation of the spin-off's conclusion. By strategically scheduling the event, he was able to raise nearly twice as much money as he had asked for. It's also strange that Michael waited until August 13 to launch a GoFundMe despite Angela's June warning that he might run into legal issues. Despite having been in the country for 3 months, he did not explain why he did not own a phone, only stating that he used a friend's phone to make calls. Nor did he elaborate on how he had remembered his friend's phone number. It's possible he jotted it down somewhere, but 3 months of carrying it around suggests he had been plotting his getaway for some time. Michael claimed that after asking for assistance, someone dropped him off at the bus stop. He never did, though, explain why he didn't go to the local police station and file a complaint about Angela first. Had Michael been innocent, he ought to have followed the law rather than eluding capture. It was his duty to bring a lawsuit against Angela. Michael appears unreliable because he didn't try to sue Angela or call the police. His entire narrative comes out as phony, inflated, and manufactured, almost like a parody movie. Michael appears to be making up a scenario about his escape based on his body language. When telling his escape story, he hardly ever looked directly into the camera. Michael made a concerted effort to appear emotional while acting like a victim. Michael appears to have planned everything from the moment he arrived in America based on his activities. Knowing what he was doing, he waited for the appropriate moment and took all of his documents before departing. Even with a 90-day fiancé, a happy ending, even though viewers are aware that Michael committed a scam, they don't mind since he deceived someone with a reputation like Angela.